If you're going to sit here and tell me that Daniel Ricciardo was never a good Formula One driver, I would really question how much Formula One you have watched. You wouldn't even be worth the time of day.
I'm Daniel Ricciardo from Perth, Australia.
Is that a podium, boys? Is that a podium?
That's a podium.
And Daniel Ricciardo! And down the inside goes Daniel Ricciardo!
Daniel Ricciardo, that good-looking guy from Australia, apparently. I don't know.
Beautiful.
There are few drivers in Formula One who make the paddock shine like Daniel Ricciardo. He is very famous for his big smile and crazy moves on the track. Everyone really loves him. But now, Ricciardo is in a big moment of his career. He left Red Bull and went to Visa Cash App RB. And after the Singapore Grand Prix, he said goodbye with a lot of emotion. Now, his future is looking very unsure. The media is buzzing, speculating on why he left. Fans and experts are asking what's happened. Some people think it is because of his recent races not being so good, while others think it is an unfair ending for a driver who has so much talent. Now, as things calm down, one important question is left. Is this the last chapter for Ricciardo in Formula One? Or could it be the beginning of an amazing comeback never seen before in the sport?
That might have been Daniel Ricciardo's last ever race in Formula One.
This whole thing has not been right.
Daniel Ricciardo has transformed Formula One. So many people love him. If that was his last race, he deserved to go out with everyone there knowing it was his last race, so that he can drive around the track and do some donuts and say bye to the fans.
The whole scenario is just a bit strange. It's a weird way to wave someone off, especially a significant figure like Daniel Ricciardo, you know?
He absolutely deserves the farewell.
Maybe we've just got this all wrong. Maybe he's going to be in Austin and maybe everything's going to be absolutely fine.
PR stunt, big PR stunt, or he just goes to Red Bull.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Ricciardo's leaving was not without noise, and one louder among them was from Red Bull's advisor, Helmut Marko. He never held back his words and gave a very honest insight about Ricciardo's situation. He said Ricciardo had chances that not many other drivers get. From special treatments to good places in top teams, everything was looking good for Ricciardo. But even with these good things, Marko said Ricciardo's performances were below expectations. His not consistent driving made Red Bull have no choice but to let him go. For many fans, Marko's words seemed too strong, maybe not fair. After all, Ricciardo had moments of great skills in his career, and his leaving felt very sudden. But as people started to understand the situation more, it was clear Ricciardo's journey was at a big turning point. Will this be the time that marks his fall, or can he show all the doubters they are wrong?
Helmut Marko just revealed something that shakes the very foundation of Ricciardo's F1 legacy. A betrayal not just of Red Bull, but of the man who trusted him most. Ricciardo was dropped by Red Bull Junior Team V-Carb this week, with Liam Lawson stepping in to partner Yuki Tsunoda for the final 6 races of F1 2024.
Helmut Marko was fast to make hasty comments, but Christian Horner, another person from Red Bull, thinks differently. Horner always liked Ricciardo very much, and it was him who made Ricciardo not leave the team so fast. Horner thought Ricciardo was not just a good driver, he also liked Ricciardo's good character and happy spirit. They were more than teammates, they were friends too. But even Horner could not change what must happen. He really wanted Ricciardo to stay, but in the end, they had to say goodbye. Many fans felt very sad about this. It made people think, could Horner have done more to keep Ricciardo with them? Or was it just how Ricciardo's career had gone? In the end, it was goodbye, and everyone was thinking what could have happened differently.
Red Bull Racing's team principal, Christian Horner, has provided further insight into the surprising exit of Australian driver Daniel Ricciardo from the Formula One team, revealing that it was largely due to pressure from the team's motorsport advisor, Helmut Marko. According to Horner, Marco had made it clear that he wanted Ricciardo out of the Red Bull cockpit following a disappointing performance at the Spanish Grand Prix earlier in the season. Ricciardo, who had once been one of the top drivers in Formula One, found himself replaced by the young New Zealander, Liam Lawson.
When talking about Ricciardo leaving, many feelings come up. But there is one truth. He does not drive well all of the time. Helmut Marko says it straight. He says Ricciardo only showed flashes of speed like before, especially in Miami and Mexico, but these good moments were not many, and he did not have the steady driving needed to win the competitive races. Now, we wonder why Ricciardo's career took this turn. Was it because the car did not fit the way he drove? Maybe the team isn't working well? Or could it be something more inside of him? Maybe he feels more pressure than before. We could keep on searching for answers, but one thing we know, his problems on the track were a big reason for him to go, and we need to understand this to see if he can come back strong again.
From his legendary Monaco win to some of the best late braking the sport has ever seen, Daniel Ricciardo was once hailed as a future Formula One world champion. But in recent years, his reputation has been dragged through the mud, leaving him fighting for his place in Formula One. But how did Ricciardo go from being F1's next brightest star to a driver whose very presence in the sport is now under fire?
As Ricciardo was doing his last laps in the Singapore Grand Prix, the feeling was very strong. Fans, other drivers and media were all looking at Ricciardo as he got the fastest lap. It was a big reminder of the skill he had before, the one that made him very competitive on the track. This moment was short but very important, showing the Ricciardo that people loved and adored.
Daniel Ricciardo's alleged final Formula One race became a focal point of controversy. The Australian driver, known for his infectious smile and daring overtakes, left an indelible mark on the sport by securing the fastest lap on the final circuit. RB's decision to outfit Ricciardo with soft tyres in the closing stages enabled him to snatch the fastest lap point from Lando Norris. This strategic move, while beneficial for Red Bull,
but even with this amazing moment, the goodbye was a bit sad. For so many, it felt like the end of an era. Is this the last moment we see Ricciardo in Formula One? Or maybe this goodbye can help him find a new way to succeed? As Ricciardo walked away from the paddock, it was hard to shake the feeling that it was the end. But still, fans kept hope alive for his return.
Your seat looks good, dude. Yes, drag the screen. Real quick, please.
It feels real now. Alrighty.
Radio check. Loud and clear. Starting in shape 4.
That version is assigned on purpose.
A big thing for any driver to perform well, of course, is the car they drive. With Ricciardo, he has had many troubles in recent years, and many people are questioning whether his problems were because of him or the car he drove. His time at Visa Cash App RB is very interesting, because the car didn't perform like people expected from such a talented driver like him.
Nothing you can say can make that any better. Just save it.
Not on the radio, mate. Do not use the radio for that.
Formula One has many technical aspects, and even very good drivers can have a hard time if the car is not good. Maybe this is what happened to Ricciardo. It's not so easy to say yes or no, but we must think about how much the car matters for a driver's success. After all, in Formula One, it is not only about talent, it's also about how good the car is. A driver can only do as much as their car allows them to do. Daniel Ricciardo has many problems, not just with cars, but also in his mind. Many people talk about how much pressure he feels when he must race at a very high level. Sometimes, when results are not good, it can make even the strongest driver feel sad and not good inside. In interviews, he says very honestly about the hard time he faced with his thoughts, and how hard it is to keep believing in himself when things go wrong.
One thing that's interesting, and rumour rather than I've seen it with my own eyes, was that he actually knew from a few races back that it would be finishing in Singapore, and he had the opportunity, obviously, to make that public, and he chose not to.
I wonder if he just felt, maybe I can buy myself some more time, because his mood went off a cliff when he went out in Q1. Thursday, Danny Rick. Friday, Danny Rick. Saturday, Danny Rick. He was in pain on that Saturday.
This part of Ricciardo's story is very important if we want to see if he can come back strong. The mind game is a big thing for any sportsman, and for Ricciardo, maybe finding the right way to think can help him start his career again. Maybe if he looks at things in a new way and focuses again, he can make a return. We will have to wait and see what happens. As Ricciardo takes a bow from Formula One, many people are thinking, what's next? Maybe he takes a rest from racing to think and get back his energy? Or do we see him back in the race soon to show everybody he can do it? The future is not clear, but one thing is very sure. Ricciardo's story is not finished yet. Fans all over the world are very excited to see what will come next for the Australian driver. Whether he comes back to Formula One or goes to a different motorsport or even starts something new, Ricciardo's journey is still very interesting. And for all the fans who have watched him from the start, the hope for his return is very strong.